Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on the Ubuntu channel. This is Let's Talk Politics, just like every other Tuesday, and I'm excited to be here. I don't know if you're excited as well, but hey, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you can share this broadcast so that you can invite that one, whoever you can think about, because it's going to be an interesting and exciting program ahead of us. My name is Lawrence, hosting you as usual, and we are back live. Remember all that. Always live. That's what Ubuntu is all about. Now, I'm not alone. Let me introduce the lady first who's been missing in action for a very, very long time. Of course, we have Himba on the line. Himba, thank you so much for being with us today after such a long time.
It's an honor to be with you, Rollins, once again. It has been long. I missed you. However, good evening and
Say welcome
good
back.
viewers.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We also have the Mad Dada himself, that is Mukelabai, man representing the West and currently in the East. Mukelabai, welcome back to tonight's program.
Thank you, Ritumez. My video is not up to date, but I will fix it later.
All right. We are just excited.
Ni chavasa Jesus, chavasa bulozi, komulu twela kaufela, kerumitela ni makande ya singani saikambwa.
Makande ni singani.
Okay. And since we have someone from the West, let's just delve into something
from Barocha from the country.
Just a little bit, Makanda Kwabulos, and it's where we're starting from. Let me ask my producer to just air something, and then we pick it up on the other side. And remember, we are live. That means your participation is actually very much valuable. Remember, you can share your views by commenting on whatever social media platform you're watching us from, and we'll be excited and so much happy to hear what you have to say about everything that we are talking about. Remember, this is Ubuntu channel. See you on the other side.
Member of the Teaching Saves Commission. Following your statement, which you issued when you were addressing the permanent secretaries for the Republic of Zambia on the 18th of January at Mulungushi Conference Center, in which you said, and I quote, P.S. a cappella, there is no country called Western Province or Barosiland. End of quote. I had to ponder and wait to hear whether you would be remorseful enough to apologize to the Litunga, the Kuta, and indeed the people of Barosland. But alas, I haven't heard anything to that effect. I consider this as being disrespectful to the Litunga, to the Kuta, and the people of Barosland. As a result of this, I have today, the 5th of February, 2024, decided to resign from your government as a commissioner from the Teaching Saves Commission and go back to my people and the country, Barosland, with immediate effect. I, Clement W. Sinyinda, would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve as a member of the Teaching Saves Commission until today. That is my short statement, but I would like to issue some advice to the people of Zambia, to the government of Zambia, and even to you as journalists. My appeal to all the people of Zambia is that the issue of Barosiland is a very sensitive issue. And therefore, I'm appealing earnestly and honestly, let nobody discuss this issue anyhow. because it has the potential of causing a lot of tension within us. So I appeal, that is my appeal to you all, not to mention, because for your own information, I, Clement W. Sinyinda, is former Prime Minister of Barotseland, but since the day the President commented on this issue on the 18th of January, I have been very quiet. I had even switched off my phones. Many people could not access me. Why? Because I felt it is not good to comment anyhow on this issue. So kindly take this information, especially this piece of advice, to all the people of Zambia. Let us not comment anyhow on the issue of Barotseland. Why? Because it is sensitive. I hope I have delivered this message. Thank you very much, young ladies and gentlemen. Right.
Okay, that is, let me say, former Commissioner Sinyinda giving us his resignation and reasons behind his resignation. Mukelabai, let me start with you. Are you a foreigner in Zambia?
What do you mean I'm a foreigner in Zambia?
We are being told that someone is offended by the president saying that there is no country, Barotseland, and you are from Barotse as well, we can say. So do you see yourself as a foreigner in Zambia?
Not really, according to what is currently prevailing. Zambia became Zambia after the agreement that was entered between Zambia and Barotseland. So the two countries merged, and there is something that is binding on that effect. So if we want to go back to claim our country, then we have to rescind the decision that was made, or rather go back to that documentation and sit down around the table and have that documentation, that agreement nullified, and or rather take it before the competent jurisdiction judge, the competent judge, to or rather international community to intervene and look into that issue, whether it is right for us to claim our country back. Because what happened is that Zambia and Barotseland, Northern Rhodesia at that time, and Zambia and Barotseland merged to become one country called Zambia. So we are Zambians. So Bohe Chechi, yes, it's a sensitive matter. And I really have to understand and respect our former Prime Minister of the Barotseland over his warning that we shouldn't talk about this matter anyhow, especially when we don't know the details of what is contained in the documentation or in the agreement. So we need to be very, very careful, including the president himself. But knowing our president being a Tonga man, and us being his cousins, so I believe when he called upon his name and he claimed there's no country called Barotse, he was in a very jovial Chimbuya making sense. I don't want to defend him, but I think for what's his name again? For the former Prime Minister to even resign, I think he just acted on impulse or on emotional. He should have just approached the president and discussed to hear if at all the president meant what he said, because otherwise, world president was probably, in my opinion, I think it was for him to even have mentioned the commissioner at the time. You know, he was probably making a joke out of it, but it is a politician, and politician can say a lot of things, but that does not mean HH is not does not consider Barotseland or does not consider Western Province as part of Zambia. So in his interest, in his talk, I believe he was talking about we should not divide ourselves, but we are unitary. You are a unitary state. We are one Zambia, one nation. And that's what he meant. Based on that, that did not mean that Barotse land does not exist. He did not deny or rather accept, but he just meant it. And also he can, if you want, he can even say it was Nenzosebera Chimbuya. So what are you going to do? You resigned over Chimbuya. So to me, I think it's a catch-22 issue. We need to be very careful, mindful. We as those people, we take this matter seriously, but at the same time, we have to look at it from the president point of view. Did he make that statement as an official statement that this is the position of the government? So if that is what he meant, then we can take this matter further, or let our representative in the Barotse establishment take up this matter than us discussing the matter. That's my take.
Okay, let me bring in Himba. Himba, what is your comment over this matter?
For me, I'm going to look at this matter from a different angle. First and foremost, allow me to recognize that this is a very sensitive matter, as Mukelabai has said, and even as the former commissioner has said, this is a very sensitive matter. However, I also had an opportunity to listen to the discussion from some senior personnel who were discussing this issue. I may not be privileged to really understand the details, because this is a very detailed and complicated issue which only the wise one can understand. So basically, I had an opportunity to listen to their discussion. If you hear the way they explained this matter and the way they responded to the president's reaction is totally different with what is in the public domain. And personally, I believe they've just taken this issue as some people, especially the selfish politicians, please mark my get the words I'm using. I'm very selective with the words I'm using because I want to share the right information, and that as I look at this issue. For me, this issue is just some selfish politicians who have decided to pursue their political agenda, and those who enjoy to drive on the boat of division in our country. They are the people who've actually pushed this agenda to be where it is. Basically, when I heard the elders from the Barroso speaking, this is not the way they spoke and the way they talked about it. It was just like, a different situation. But for the commissioner to resign based on that, I think for me, it was anyway, I'm not condemning him. He's got the right to resign. It's his own decision to make, which we respect as a country. But however, as leaders, if you're going to anything what is agitating or what doesn't settle well, you are not willing to go and sit on the round table, or you are willing things to go your way, I think it becomes a little bit difficult. And he's demanding for the president to apologize. I would have loved him to say he engaged the president, wanting to apologize. From which angle does he want the president to resign? Which angle does he want the president to apologize? And then he should have clarified to say, no, the president has not responded. He was not willing to engage. He was not even willing to apologize. It would have been a different situation. But this is a very sensitive issue. And the selfish politicians, please, please, please stay out of this issue. If you don't mean well for the Zambian people and the people of Western Province, please stay out of it. I think what the president was trying to communicate to the people of Zambia is that we are one Zambia, one nation. He was trying to preach or to ride on the jet of unity. But as usual, we always have those selfish politicians and greed politicians who feeds from their tummies and who feels they can divide our nation. So whenever they say any little opinion, they use it to their best interest or to their own benefit. However, we preach peace, unity in our country, and we hope those who understand this issue and who are representatives, they can handle this matter amicably and peaceful for the sake of Mother Zambia. Mukelabai.
Sure.
Nakamba bueno.
Yes, you have actually said the right thing. You have not you haven't said anything that will damage or the president or the commissioner, the former commissioner's words. We are keeping his warning. We are keeping his warning at bay. So we will make sure that we don't prolong and talk about this matter. However, we also want to advise those politicians who are busy trying to push this issue into the public domain to please desist and advise the people that are involved, that are spearheading this project, to do it secretly or privately with the government of Zambia. Until then, when they have reached an agreement, if at all they are going to make that agreement, then that's when they can come to us and tell us. Otherwise, do not blow a whistle before the game, before you know what time the game is start and going to finish. So we are not interested in talking about this issue. It's an issue that happened so many years ago, 57 years ago, 58 years ago. So we need to be very cautious with that. Some of us were not even born yet. And now for us to bring that issue in, we have to dissect it and find out if it carries more weight to discuss. But for now, we're just going to put it in our archives on the history to learn what are the legal issues and what is at stake, and what can come out of this, and weigh all the options and see where we can go with this. Otherwise, for now, the status quo is that we are one Zambia, one nation, and that's what we were born out to, except for those who were born before, who actually were there to witness the signing, the treaty that was entered between the Northern Rhodesia and the Barotseland. We were not there.
Mukelabai, thank you so much. And as you've advised, we are going to leave that issue into the persons who are responsible to handle the matter. And there are people who trust, there are people who've ushered into government to represent us based on such issues. However, our dear viewers, I used to inform you that we've had an emergence. As you've seen, our presenter has just left us. The father has just collapsed. We hope he'll be well, and they've rushed him to the hospital. However, we'll continue with the program. We wish our dear father well, and we hope all goes well, and we stand with our brother Lawrence, whatever he's going through at the moment. However, we are going to continue with the program. And let's remember Lawrence in our prayers and the family. Mukelabai, there have been some issues on the political arena which we are going to discuss as well as Ubuntu team. I'm going to ask our director to share with us the next clip. Over to you, IT department.
Your Excellency, the President, my dear brother, please, I beg of you, my health is not well. I'm not well. Please, find it in your heart to forgive me. Let me not die because of politics. I'm prepared to work with you. I sincerely apologize for all the bad things I've done to you and the people of Zambia. Please, my dear brother. Please, my dear brother. I'm not well. I'm not well. I'm overstressed. And my BP and sugar not coming down. Please, my brother. Find it in your heart to forgive me. Please, Napapata. I'm not well, please.
Upon the officer's insistence that the holder be brought to the counter for clearance as per procedure, their non-Zimbabwean friend leaving Mr. Kambwili, Chishimba Kambwili's passport behind. Information later obtained by ourselves revealed that Honorable Kambwili had crossed into Zimbabwe, leaving his passport behind and without following the requisite procedure of exiting the country. It must be placed on record that by crossing into Zimbabwe in the manner he did, Mr. Chishimba Kambwili contravened Section 16(1) of the Immigration and Deportation Act number 18 of 2010.
Would not evacuate him to UK because as government we do not have direct arrangements with any hospital where he should be taken there. And so we told at that stage that it could only be India or South Africa. And then later, I did myself again inform his wife to the effect that the place where we're going to send him to was was South Africa. Because by that time, by the 15th of January, we had already gotten responses from both India and South Africa. And we opted for South Africa because it was nearer and it was going to be easier for us.
We've come across a report where they are saying they should make sure that I am eliminated from the political scene because I'm too popular. I can easily beat HH in 2026. So they are saying they are going to do two things. One, give me as many trumped up charges so that they can confine me in prison and probably poison me while in detention. Or they have also planned that they should plan a road traffic accident against me by planting certain people to tamper with my vehicle or just set up some vehicle to kill me and then claim that it was in an RTA. They've also done closing all my businesses by threatening all the people that we do business with so that I don't have money. This has adversely affected our survival and sponsorship of the children to school. Right now, I'm not doing anything because our biggest contract, which was mining, I have been in the mining contract business since 1993. They've terminated the contract with Mopani because Mopani is now a parastatal under ZCM Investment Holding, which is a government company. So they want to kill me or eliminate me by making sure that I'm broke and have no money to maneuver or to do my campaign. So my life is at stake, and this I need to be assisted.
Our viewers out there, you've heard. We are also inviting you. Would love to hear your opinion. You've heard, you've seen the videos which we're about to discuss, and I'm sure you've got something to say. Basically, we invite you into the studio. Is it through the messages? We really want to hear what is your opinion on what is going on over vatata vachimba Kambwili. Ati vachimba Kambwili vali palwendo avengera mu Zimbabwe. He has gone to Zim. So Mukelabai, I haven't said anything, Mukelabai, Alafi. Mukelabai, I'm told, I'm failing to understand. I would really want to hear, before we go any further discussing this matter. Well, if I remember very well, Vatata Vasike, at one point, he said he could travel to the UK in the morning and in the evening for a cup of tea. That was for a cup of tea, not for medical treatment. He said he can travel to the UK in the morning, meaning he can fly to the UK for a cup of tea, and in the evenings he's back home. So now I'm failing to understand. This is why I need clarity, Mukelabai, before we go deep into this discussion. This is a person who was able to fly to the UK to come and have a cup of tea or to come and have a cup of coffee or something in the UK. But now he's not able to evacuate himself for his medical attention. What is your reaction, Mukelabai? I think things are not make. I'm a politician today. Mukelabai, what is your take? I've got a lot of issues to ask over this issue. Please, over to you. Kapia tiktibakwanishi kwisa mkuu treatment tete bakwanishi.
I was laughing. I laughed my lungs out because I saw that the last clip. I didn't know there was the last clip was where he was talking about the allegations that who wants to kill him? The government.
He's popular. He says, don't rush to kill him. He says he's popular, and the government, they've got plans to make sure that he doesn't contest. He believes he can win the elections in 2026, and President HH is scared of him. So he has slapped him with a lot of cases. I don't know when did the President HH started to sit in the court of law or anything. So according to his claim, he says they've slapped him with a lot of cases, and they've also terminated his contract with Mopani Mine, which makes him literally vulnerable. He doesn't have a source of income at the moment. So those are the issues he's trying to. But I want us to go clip by clip. I want first to look at the matter of him being evacuated by the government. What is your reaction? Viewers out there, I would love to hear your reaction. What is your reaction over?
Okay, the thing is, it's quite. Chimba Kambwili is known for his drama. Even the so-called illness it's a very questionable. Some of us would love to believe him that he is unwell. We would love to believe that he is really sick. Unfortunately, this man, he is on record where we was on videos during PF. I think it was in 2018 or 2019, somewhere there, where he even fainted. There was a video where some supporter was even crying with him when he was about to be wheeled into police cells. That time it was just police cells. And you saw how he became ill. And the moment the issue was dropped, he became so better.
And very loud.
Yes, he became well. So meaning he saw that if I come up with this excuse, I would definitely be exonerated from any issue. It's like that boy who used to cry, lion, lion, Now you cry when you have even a serious disease. Even this time around, if Chishimba Kambwili was ill, really, was he going to have the power and the strength to escape or to run away? Because he has a sentence. The reason why the government wanted to intervene and help him was because he is He's a prisoner. He's a convict.
So now he's a fugitive.
He's a fugitive, yes. He's run away because the reason why the passport was held was to make sure to avoid this kind of issues to do with escaping or anything happens to him. So the government wanted to give him a special treatment, which I really question also the government on that. That was a very wrong move. They should not have done that, because now every Jim and Jack, every politician would apply it to the government every time they are sick.
You know, Mukelabai, I don't understand. Why should a person like Himba Kambwili, who's got a lot of money, be evacuated when other people who are genuinely struggling, they can't have such opportunity? This man is...
For example, KK died in Zambia in hospital. We are not wishing Kambwili to die. Don't we have hospitals in Zambia that can take care of Kambwili's illness? But he needs to be evacuated. Now our government, they should have opened their eyes and their ears. You don't just run into that kind of trap.
So now we have a fugitive. He becomes dangerous to the community, is it?
Yeah. His intentions were clear from the word go. Me, if you follow my intervention on this issue, I have been on Facebook, I have been saying this illness is questionable. Just that time when, actually, I even said, when I heard that he was sentenced to remand prison for 5 months, or to prison for 5 months with hard labor, I even said, very soon we are going to hear an excuse of him being unwell, that his sugar level has gone up, his BP has gone. I said that.
But
and
now,
barely a month, barely 2 weeks down the line, it came to pass. So maybe I should be a prophet. But he is the red.
You are Papa. Papa Mukelabai. The name has changed. You are Papa. Now, look, you know, just there, where do politicians, Mukelabai, think they can commit a crime, which we all know, CK, there's overwhelming evidence everywhere for what he did against the Zambian people and what sent him to prison. There's evidence. But then, does it mean the politicians can do whatever they want against the citizen of Zambia and they'll get away with it?
No. It's not like that. And I wonder why this new Dawn government was even entertaining the so-called application to send him, to evacuate him to go to India, when they are the ones who are struggling, trying to put or paying doctors a lot of money and nurses in these hospitals that Himba Kambwili himself was busy demonizing. And then you fall into his trap and even wants to evacuate him to go to India or South Africa. To do what?
Impious.
Why? And on top of that, you are going to use our money, our hard-earned money, that money should have even bought more medication in the hospitals. But now, before the whole issue was even done, look at what this already destroys even the first application that he made, or rather the request he made. That destroys everything. That for him to have had this was just a way of to trick the government into believing that he was very serious ill. And then suddenly he's escaped. So if he has escaped, now he's a wanted criminal, he's a fugitive.
Our viewers, please join us. We would love to hear from you.
And so let him not come to Europe, because we are going to catch him here. We are here who catch him and throw him in on the plane. We can, because we have the capacity, by the way.
But
we will catch him and send him back.
I think the government should look into it seriously. Why did he want UK?
Because ngabalenda
Okay, Mukelabai, I want us to talk about this. Look, despite CK, I would say he duped the government. He played a quick one on the government. Don't you
Yeah.
think the government is also to blame? How? Because this guy was in the cell, was in prison. So you can't tell me that the people in the prison, they didn't know what he was up to.
No,
Basically,
he had applied for bail,
no,
and he appealed his
no, I'm
whatever
looking.
case.
I'm looking at this here, whatever he was applying for, but the people in the cell, they would have just let me and give you a few thoughts which are on my mind.
Okay.
He was in the prison. In the prison, you can't tell me that the prison, because he was confined. You can't tell me that he made all these arrangements by himself. So there were people who were visiting him. There were people who were having discussions with him. Secondly, we've got by immigration. By immigration, for him to pass all the way from where he was until Abuela Peter pa Zimbabwe, there should be somebody whom he was working with in the system. Thirdly, even the people from the police, Wakapokola. So you mean all these government institutions, lastly, the intelligence, they didn't know that this is what this man was planning. Because definitely, I strongly believe he was confined. So he's not the one who was doing these things. There were people outside who were doing these things. Do you think our intelligence is strong enough from Mukelabai?
Well, remember what this government inherited. It was not just a debt. When they came into power, they have not just inherited a debt. Also, they inherited people or human resource that is still paying tributes or reign, or that is still loyal to the previous regime, because the previous regime probably employed them, gave them contracts, or employed them into government. And now, if your memory serves you correct, it's me, one gentleman, the so-called vice president or acting president of PF, was bragging on the TV, on the social media, where he was claiming that we still have people in government that are working with us. And that was not a joke. That was not just politics. He meant what he said. And it is true, there are people that are still paying tributes, or that are still loyal to their so-called people that gave them those jobs, or that offered them a contract to work in the government. So I am not surprised to hear that they are still there, and those are the people that could have facilitated for this gentleman to escape. It is possible. The only best thing they should do, the only thing they should do, the current government, is to introspect, look into their loopholes, and see where this this lacuna is coming from. There are bad and rotten eggs in the current government as we speak today, who are still loyal to the previous regime, to the thieves that had destroyed this nation. So the government need to be very careful, especially these who are. That's why you see even development in certain areas, they delay. There are a lot of bureaucratic systems.
That's my point.
Delay, procrastination. There's a lot of excuses, meaning things that are supposed to go straight, they have to go round and round in circles until either the head of state threatens somebody, and that's when you see everyone moving. Remember, it was in this on this very show where it has to take the whole health minister to fire an individual from the hospital that was busy writing prescription to send patients to go and get medicine from their so-called pharmacies, yet there is medicine in the hospitals. So such individuals it is not just that. It is happening throughout. There are so many of them, and the government and those who are really loyal to the current government, who are really patriotic to the country, needs to report such individuals and just come out, because no one.
Don't you think by the UPND government, especially the leadership, this is where they say we are all Zambians? Don't you think it's actually working against the leadership?
Well, that's what happens. If you are all Zambians and yet you have people, the very Zambians are busy frustrating your work, what does that mean? You see, it is you at the end of the day who's going to have a bad record. It is you at the end of the day who's going to lose popularity. It is you at the end of the day who is going to pay a price when that day comes, because those people who are busy betraying you, those people who are busy sabotaging you, allowing them to do those things. Mr. Hakainde Chilema and the New Dawn rushed. They rushed. They tried to play it cool by bringing in people because they wanted to be a different. They wanted to bring a different approach to politics, but politics is a dirty game. We are not saying they should emulate what PF did, but they were supposed to approach this issue very careful. Very careful. They've rushed to employ people that started praising them or at the last minute. And they sidelined people that have been with them from the word go. Most of the people that were there that started this UPND, that were loyal, that were punished together with the UPND, are still roaming the streets. And the very PF are busy laughing, pointing a finger at the same, say, you are the people who were busy laughing at us. Where's your job now?
But Mukelabai, just to add on what you're saying, everywhere in the world, everywhere, there's no a political party that comes into government and inherit the previous leaders from the previous regime. What made those people not to join your political party? It's because they don't believe in your manifesto. So how are they going to believe in your manifesto after you've ascended into office? So basically, we can't, we are not saying they should fire them. We are not saying, but some measures should have been put in place, because this idea of CK being able to move from wherever he was in the hands of the authority, run away and become a fugitive and close borders should be an eye-opener to the Zambian leadership. So if these things are happening, this is only CK. And he's the second one. Remember, Kaizia Zulu, where is he? The government didn't even know. Even the intelligence can't even find him. His whereabouts. So now there's CK. So who is next? So basically what we are trying to say is the government should come to reality and put the people who understand their manifesto, who agree with their manifesto from the beginning.
Yeah.
If CK is able to move from the hands of the authority, it should be an eye-opener. And if CK can even decide to say, this is where I want to go, from whatever he did for the Zambian people, the way he injures the Zambian people, today he's even still given the respect. How do our government easily trust people like that?
No, the good thing is that they had to put some conditions, because he wanted to decide, to make shots, to decide on behalf of the government, to say, instead of sending me, I want you guys, on top of requesting to be evacuated, to a hospital, he started giving conditions. Take me to this hospital in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom and the government, do they have those arrangements? Do they have hospitals where they can evacuate people? Do they have this
But
corroboration?
Joseph has that part of his family is in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, but if the government, of course, and also you're looking at the costs, you know, they looked into the issue of cost. Probably in India, he was going to be treated on free basis because the government has.
What about if he knew that he comes here, then he'll run away and he'll disappear from the hospital?
That could have been his plan from the word go. But the moment the government started giving excuses to say we can't take you direct to the UK, we can only take you to India or South Africa nearby. You see, if you have a plan, you knew that no matter, because in India, probably the government of Zambia was going to say, keep an eye and make sure that the security is tight. In South Africa, he was also probably the government was going to have some agreement with the South African authorities to say, keep an eye on this person, is a convict. So what does he do? Now he's seen that his plans are, and he decided to leave, to escape. He escaped from lawful custody.
But
so now,
for me, Mukelabai, the issue of CK moving from Zambia to Zimbabwe or crossing borders through Zimbabwe, I entirely blame it on the government. The government is to blame.
And also they should also look into the issue to do with the Zimbabwean authorities as well. In what capacity did they allow the Zimbabwean authority? In what capacity did they allow Himba to enter their country without any?
If you look at it, PF has a
strong
ties.
Applied for asylum seek.
PF has strong ties with the Zimbabwean government.
Yeah.
So basically, we don't know. Anyway, we leave it up to that. Mukelabai, I want us also to talk about him. There are claims which CK has brought out in public domain that he wants to be. There are people who are planning to assassinate him because he's popular, and President HH is scared of him, that he may scoop the 2026 presidential election. So they've slapped him with a lot of cases so that he can remain behind bars, and then so that President HH will not have the challenger during the elections, the coming election. So what is your reaction on that?
Himba was not even popular in his own political party that he claimed to have formed. He left his own political party. He left his own political party. He came to PF. PF did not even. What position did Himba hold? What position was he holding in the PF when he came back?
He was told to apply.
Exactly. So you see, he wants to claim that he was popular. Unfortunately, Himba in his head, and when he sees those Tamangas who are busy crying for him, and he thinks he was very popular in his head. All this, it's in his head, and we just have to understand, and this is just a political game, is a lie. It is all lies after lies. Himba is a liar. Himba is a tribalist. Himba is a criminal convict of a tribe. In Europe, he could have been convicted for being a racist, because that tribalism and racism, it's almost it goes on the same, it carries the same
family.
The same family. It's the same badge. So he is a convict, and nobody in Zambia would want to associate themselves with such a person, with such a badge. And his popularity just went down. Yes, Kambwili was popular then. He was very popular then. But he destroyed his mouth, destroyed his career. he put himself in danger. He thought he was doing the right thing. Whoever advised him, thinking that by speaking idioms and by using attacking, using tribal remarks, was going to earn him points to be more popular. To his surprise, it has actually worsened. He could be, not could be, but he is one of the reasons why Edgar Changwa lost the 2021 election, because nobody wanted to associate himself or themselves with a person that insulted this president and demonized him, at the same time came back and stood by him and say, I will support you, I'm coming to your party. If I return to UPF, call me a lunatic. What happened? He went exactly back to the same. So when we call him a lunatic today, are we going to be sued for defamation when he expressly stated that he was going to be considered a lunatic when he comes back and to PF? He came back to PF. This is the person whose credibility is questionable. You can't trust anything that comes out of Chimba Kambwili's mouth. That is before he became a fugitive. Now that he has even added salt on the wound, how can we even trust? Now listen to the videos he's making. Claiming that is popular than Hakainde, his life is in danger. What is that?
You know what,
in Zambia? And why would HH even want to eliminate Kambwili when HH has so many things to think about? Kambwili was one of the least, and that's why Kambwili could even beg for forgiveness. It's the same mouth. Akanwa Kamo, forgive me. I'm ready to work with you. I'm sick. Tomorrow, they want to kill me. Now he's a fugitive, has run away. Mutu, awe.
My message goes to the Zambian people. I'll just leave a few things, or maybe things to think about. CK, in the first place, he left the PF. He's claiming to be popular. He left the PF. When he left the PF, how many people went to beg for him? Nobody. If CK was popular, why didn't even CL call him back and plead? But they let him go. CK, he went and formed a party. He tested the power of running a party, and then he failed to run that party. The person whom he's saying he's weaker than him, he has run the party for more than 20 years in the opposition. Ukumwingisha mmasales no kumufumia ukumwingisha mmasales tabu tukapo awe tabapo na fugitive. Nempia tali lapo atavura ni mbroka. Vasike vaikala mmaseo mu prison. A month and some days valilata mbroka. Business. There's no single day we ever heard the person is claiming to wanting to assassinate him. He cried that Nena Banji Salilama business. So what kind of business is CK doing? In and out. His businesses were intact. He went into prison. They tossed him center, left, right, the way they want. His businesses were intact. So the way the PF were after HH's throat, if his businesses were not legitimate, what would have happened to HH, to present HH's businesses? Right now, Bakambwili, just, and he said the biggest contract. And this is a man who's been claiming that he had money. So he says he's gone broke. The Zambian people out there, I want you to follow me, and you can analyze in your own understanding, and this is my own analysis as well. This is a person who is saying he's gone broke because he's been because his contract with Mopan Mine has been terminated. But if I can remind the Zambian people, there was an audio that was circulating on social media where CK was pleading for money from the former, governor, where he was saying, and he's good at pleading. I think it's one of his skills. The way he was pleading for evacuation is the same way he was pleading. So at that point, he was saying he was broke. Again, he's broke. This is a man who is saying he can win the election. He went to run a party. After running a party, he couldn't run his party. He came back to the PF. He couldn't even penetrate in the PF. He was just, and if CK had integrity or is a man of principles and integrity, how can you go out of the party as a senior party official? You come back, and he said, "Nganabwelela ku PF nishi ateti mbwele ku PF pantu nisha mwe lunatic." I know those idioms he's good at. So right now, for me, I'm taking that he's busy eating the vomit as he was vomiting. He's busy eating. That's what he was telling. We're just saying what he was saying, basically. So now this is a man who was saying, you know, he's back to PF. He comes back to PF. The PF leadership, they say, for you to come back, you have to apply. And that was part of humiliation. He went and did that. Then they allow him into the party. And then they decide, we are going to use you as a doormat. They decided to give him a chopper to go from one angle of the country to another. Whenever their names are okay. And CK accepted to go through that that humiliation. He was humiliated. Remember, I watched one of his radio interviews where he was saying, you know, that kind of thing. If you're a man of integrity, politicians out there, please build a character, build a name for yourself. We are not the old generation. This is the millennial, and the millennial people, we understand things better than maybe our parents, our forefathers. You can't come to us, you say this today, tomorrow you say this. Today he's claiming, and he's even Ukobali. HH, there's no day we heard that HH has run away. There's no day we heard HH Kwisa. There's no day we heard HH was pleading for being evacuated. There's no day we ever heard that. That is what we call integrity. That is where we say you believe in yourself. You have confidence. You know where you're standing. So with Zambian people, we are not looking for such leaders. If anything, for me, CK, we are just discussing him, and we want the politicians to know that we don't want such kind of politicians in the political arena. We are looking for politicians of integrity, politicians of principles, politicians who've got an image to put and who believes in protecting their image. Mukelabai, ati na broke bachimba Kambwili, na besalira mopani. Now a contract ya kumopani.
No, this was a bad investment for himself. Chimba Kambwili actually destroyed his career. Chimba Kambwili had the potential, to be honest with you. I'll be very honest with you. Chimba Kambwili was one of the guys who was very likable by the former president of the Republic of Zambia, the fifth Republican president. No, the fifth, I think, Chilufya Sata. You know, many people loved him, especially from the Copper Belt. Chimba Kambwili was an angel because he spoke his lungs out. Unfortunately, things started going west when he decided to venture into the politics of character assassination, politics of insults, politics of it was just too much for him. It was just too much that he thought by so doing he was going to be as popular as Michael Sata. Michael Sata knew how to say things, and he knew how to reverse what he said and how to navigate himself through the things he may have said that may have injured other people. But you could see Michael Sata had even, may his soul rest in peace, could even shake hands with Mwanawasa, sit down round the table, discuss. And Mwanawasa even confirmed to say, I need him, no matter how terrible he may be in his whatever, using sarcasm, I need him. He's keeping me on my toes. But when it came to Kambwili, instead of emulating from that, he went tribal. He went on the verge of character assassinating others, hate speech, and this is what has costed Kambwili. We liked Kambwili very much. He had the potential to become even the vice president, for example, because not a president. We needed some more, like you said, credibility on his side, that he wasn't that credible, unfortunately. But when it comes to popularity, Kambwili was popular because of his sarcasm. Unfortunately, he went into the issue to do with tribal. He tried to justify himself. Even at one point, I believe he went to Southern Province to ask for forgiveness from the chiefs, blah, blah, blah. That was just politics. And then he went back again during campaign. He just went back into tribal again. And I don't know. He just kept on going. Unfortunately, nobody, including the people that were cheering him, could advise him on the danger. On the whole, he was busy digging for himself. Now Kambwili is a convict with a badge over or tattoo over his forehead of being a tribalist. So wherever he goes, this is going to haunt him in his political career, even in the near future, when that day comes where he wants to stand and become the president of the republic. Whatever political party is going to come up with, they are going to bring back this from his archive. They are going to bring back this tattoo because this forehead, this tribalist badge on his forehead, which has killed, it will kill, and it's a criminal, and he's a criminal convict now. Convicted for what? For hate speech, for being a tribalist. Just that is the one and the first that has been given this punishment. Whether it's 2 days, whether it's 5 months in prison, the fact of the matter is that he is a convicted criminal on hate speech. To make the matters worse, you go and decide to dupe the government in evacuating you. You stage the sickness. You said, I am unwell. You use your disease, your occupational disease, because that's his occupational disease. That's his condition, his health condition. He uses this to manipulate the government. Unfortunately, the government did not want to, they wanted to help, but they came up with a condition. Since you are a prisoner, you are a convict, here are our conditions. But because he didn't like the conditions that the government was giving, he decided to take the law into his own hands by escaping from Sobibor. He ran away. So now, wherever he is, he is a fugitive. He's a wanted criminal. In short,
he'll come back again now. We know, but
umulandu taubola, especially criminal cases that do not have any statute of limitation. He can go and stay for 9-10 years, will come back. And my politicians, we know that Zimbabwe has been your way out, because there's some weaker links in Zimbabwe border there. Even Xavier Chungu used, remember during MMD, the man who was the intelligent officer for Chiruva, when he escaped, which border did he use? Zimbabwe, Livingstone. I don't know what Oyu Zulu used when he escaped, but I suspect he must also have used Livingstone.
No, let's leave it there, Mukelabai. Our viewers out there, Would love to hear your opinion, your views. These are leaders we are talking about, and these are people we expect to make decisions for us, to create policies for us that are favorable, that are going to benefit every Zambian out there. Would love to hear, would want to know your expectations from you and how you even feel about this issue. Mukelabai, please, in your conclusion.
Our government should open their eyes. We know their focus is on economic recovery, which is a good thing. But as you are busy focusing on the recovery of our economy, bringing our economy, taking it out of the ICU, putting it onto track so that we can have better lives, we also want you to understand that there are other sectors that should not be disregarded, that need your attention. The issue especially to do with corruption, the fight against corruption should not stop here. We know that now this has been on the back of all these people who are faced with criminal charges. I promise you, you will hear that the next person will be those other guys who are facing the same cases in court to run away when they are either convicted or not. So we want to urge the government, the security wings, to please tighten up your security. We know things are not okay, but you guys, you are the reason why we exist. You are the reason that why Zambia is where we are today in terms of safety, peace, and tranquility. But do not allow people to manipulate you like the way Kambwili manipulated the government. We don't want to, you should not allow people to take advantage of your system. Those who are found wanting, those who are helping people that committed heinous crime, and if they are found, please announce to the Zambian people and let them be charged as an accomplice, so that we know who they are and we shame them. So we would also want you to still investigate on the monies that was mentioned. We are reliably informed that there were some monies from the Bank of Zambia that was released, or that was put in sacks and given to people to go and keep in their homes. That case should not just die a natural death. We need to follow up that matter, follow it up with Bank of Zambia employees, from the officer until the governor, to find out how did that money leave, how much, and who got the money. Such issues are really important to follow. So we are asking the SEC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, the Drug Enforcement Commission to up their game and give feedbacks to the nation over the investigations. Otherwise, thank you so much. And please, if Mr. Kambwili comes to Europe, we are here. We find him on the street, we will exercise citizen arrest and put him on the plane back home. I promise you, we will do that. Let him not walk the street of London or anywhere in Amsterdam or anywhere. If we find him, like the Nigerians. Remember the Nigerians, what they did to the minister who came for medical attention? They denied him to go and get treatment in Europe. They chased him and put him back on the plane, back to the country, to Nigeria. The hospitals are in Nigeria. So why should we evacuate a politician who is failing to come up with policies that will put medicine and support our doctors and nurses in Zambia? You want to to fly him, to evacuate him to UK or to London.
Thank you so much, Mukelabai. Thank you so much.
That system should not exist in Dalumba.
Thank you so much. Our viewers out there, thank you for being with us, and we hope to be with you next week at the same time. Please join the Ubuntu team as we talk about issues and matters that affect our lives on daily basis. These are issues that shapes our lives, our children, and this is also for the betterment of Mother Zambia. Your input is really valid, and we value you. Thank you for being with us, and see you next time.